50-meter rifle 3 positions event in Paris. Kusale shot an aggregate of 451.4 in the 8-shooter final to finish third after being placed 6th at one stage. It took the country's overall tally in the ongoing Paris Olympic Games to 3 all bronze medals, all coming in the sport of shooting. His medal comes following the stunning 63.6 and Serhiy Kulish from Ukraine, who fired for 2012 London Games, where he had finished 4th. Now, a ticket collector with Indian Railways, Kusale draws inspiration from cricket icon MS Dhoni. He was slow to start, but he fought his way back to bag the 3rd position on the podium in his very first appearance in the world's biggest sporting spectacle. He was in the 4th place after the first standing series, but then covered up and came on in the 3rd place. Considered a high-scoring round, Kusale's first shot of the final in kneeling was a lowly 9.6, but he made an excellent recovery after that. In the final stages of the competition, Kusale upped his game, joined Bhakar and Sarabjot in the list of medal winners in this edition of the Games. The 28-year-old has been competing in international events since 2012, but he had to wait 12 years to make his Olympic debut at the Paris Games. Today's medal is a perfect icing on the cake. Kusale had finished 7th in a tightly contested qualification on Wednesday. All right, IOA President PT Usha, she's delighted with India's performance at the ongoing Paris Olympic Games. She was at the range when Swapnil won the 3rd medal for the country. Here is what she said about India's performance in shooting and what are her expectations moving along.
So exciting and so proud moment for all of us, and when I saw his race, like he was shooting, and it was so nervous for me also. My heart also started beating because he was in 6th and came to 5th and 4th. Once he came to 2nd also, then he had again gone to 4th, and so exciting, especially for the last minute. It was so exciting and it had a lot of heartbeat, and but he has won it, and it's a proud moment for all of us, and it's a great moment because shooters are doing good and they are making history now.
Ma'am, day 5 and already 3 medals we have. Our shooters have given us a great start. Manu Bhakar winning 2 medals.
Yes.
Then you have Sarabjot winning a medal, and now we saw Swapnil clinching a medal. So brilliant start by the shooters.
Yes. Because Manu actually earlier also we were expecting medals because we were in frequent contact with her personal coach Jaspal Rana, and he also had a lot of problem, and we had helped him every way to accompany her here, and so we know that Manu is going to win the medals. But now she won 2 also, and we were expecting a next medal also. It will be a history, and more medal from shooting I am expecting.
How are you looking forward to athletics, especially Neeraj Chopra and other sports too?
Athletics is a very toughest event, but we are hoping medal from Neeraj Chopra, and for steeplechase also will be going to do well, and other all I think they'll do their best performance here, I hope.
And now we're talking about Olympic hosting 2036. There are high chances, especially when players are doing so well. What do you have to say about that?
Earlier we have no medals, only now we started with the 1 medal, and now we have already won the 7 medal earlier Tokyo Olympics, and this time we are expecting more than the Tokyo Olympics, and by the time when we are hosting Olympics we should be targeting at least top 10 if you think about big, and then we will get little. So
a very proud PT Usha. She's the president of the Indian Olympic Association. Now joining us is Vinayak Padmadev, senior journalist, someone we love talking to because he's followed Olympic sports closely. He knows a lot of these athletes. He's followed them. He's written stories about them. Vinayak, thank you so much for joining us here. Another medal in shooting, and if it wasn't difficult enough just to stand in one position and aim at that pinhead of a target, this is a medal in a 3-position event where you're kneeling, you're in prone position and the standing position. How special is this for India and for Swapnil?
It's very, first of all, thank you, Meha, for having me here. Like you said, it's very special. This is India's first ever medal in the three positions. It is one of the hardest discipline in the shooting sports. Okay, like you said, that there are three different positions. You have to concentrate in every position. You have to be there and thereabouts. And if you remember, in the third position, which was the standing, Swapnil shot a 9.5, and I mean, like a fan, like a follower of this sport, my heart sank. But credit to Swapnil, he kept at it, and then we had a lot of series. His groupings were very good, a higher tens, and he won it. And he's been doing this three positions for the last, I think, 13 and a half, 14 years. Again, wonderful for him to win, and big day for India again. Because, like I said, I mean, if you remember, we had this chat, I mean, last time when Manu won it. We had not won a medal for the last two Olympic cycles. So this was very, very important. And now, not only we have one, we have two, third we got it, and hopefully many more to follow.
Absolutely. Now, can I tell you, I'm going to be honest with you, that at a time when he started with the 6th position and carried on for the first 3 series, and then came to 5th after, I think, 30 shots. And that's when India's match against Belgium started in hockey. And I'm going to be honest with you, I had given up hope. I said, you know what, I think I should just shift to hockey. And I started watching that game, and suddenly, before I knew it, he had gone up to 4th, and then 3rd, and then 2nd, and then came back. And I quickly switched back, and it was incredible to watch, because this was not just, you know, a medal of how excellent he was, but the fight back, the comeback in itself, you know, to be in that 6th position, and then you buck up and you come to being in the medal contention. That is huge as well, right?
Yeah, Neha, but if I mean, if you look at the last position, I always go, I mean, I'm going back to the last position again, because if you look, a lot of leaders, they drop points there. That Norway shooter, I'm forgetting his name again. And he was leading through and through. In the first two. He was in the top 2. And suddenly he dropped points like anything. Even the world champion, the Chinese, he also dropped points. So, and to top of it, Swapnil went in a zone wherein he was, I mean, obviously his first shot was very bad, but after that, his shooting was very consistent. And that, I mean, and that gave me a feeling that he'll be there at the podium. And thankfully and wonderfully that he was there. But like I said, a lot of shooters, I mean, before the elimination round started, they started dropping points when the standing positions came up. I mean, I don't know how it was, like there was wind. I mean, I'm not there. A lot of them was sweating also. That could be a factor as well. But Swapnil never swayed away. He kept on going. Like I said, after that first shot, his lowest was 10, if I'm not wrong. But he was consistent. And if you're, I mean, this discipline is very through and through. You have to be at it. Even if you have a bad shot, you have to go back again and shoot well. And credit to Swapnil, he did that very well in the standing position. And that's why he's a medal winner today.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I wanted to say, that here were some of the more experienced shooters in the competition who were actually at the top of the table, but they just, you know, probably the nerves, you talked about the wind, but they started losing that focus, whereas Swapnil just held on. And here we are celebrating Swapnil's medal now. 3 medals from the shooting range. Rhythm Sangwan, she speaks about this proud moment for India and the sport of shooting. Listen into what she had to say.
साल ओलंपिक्स 2024 पेरिस में 10 मीटर एयर पिस्टल इवेंट और 10 मीटर एयर पिस्टल मिक्स इवेंट में पार्टिसिपेट किया था।
और दोनों कैसा जर्नी कैसी रही फिलहाल? इस बार में तो कोई बात नहीं, लेकिन जर्नी कैसी रही?
जर्नी काफ़ी अच्छी थी। आई वाज वेरी एक्साइटेड टू गो देयर एंड आई एम स्टिल वेरी हैप्पी कि मैं इतने बड़े स्टेज पे परफॉर्म कर पाई और वहाँ जाने का मेरे को मौका मिला, वहाँ खेलने का मौका मिला। तो काफ़ी अच्छी जर्नी थी।
और टॉप ने कैसे हेल्प किया आपको यहाँ पे पहुँचने, टॉप पर इतना बड़ा?
टॉप्स ने, मैं काफ़ी साल से टॉप्स में हूँ एंड आई थिंक टॉप्स सारी एकोमोडेशन, बोर्डिंग, लॉजिंग, कोई भी मेरे को ज़रूरत पड़ती है तो मैं टॉप से असिस्टेंस लेती हूँ। हाँ जी, काफ़ी ज़्यादा हेल्प मिली है टॉप से और सरकार बहुत अच्छा काम कर रही है।
शूटिंग के अंदर जो है मेडल के लिए हमेशा लगती है, एक बार ओपनिंग शूटिंग नहीं करी, तीसरा मेडल लिया गया। अब कितना प्रेशर होगा शूटिंग से, और आपके लिए क्योंकि अगले ओलंपिक में भी उम्मीद है अब आपसे बड़ी है।
आई थिंक प्रेशर नहीं, आई थिंक शूटिंग इज़ फाइनली गेटिंग द अटेंशन एंड जो डिज़र्व करती है। आई थिंक शूटर्स का बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा कर रहे हैं इंटरनेशनल, नेशनल।
Okay, now one of the biggest upsets of the Olympic Games in boxing, two-time world champion Nikhat Zareen. She bowed out after a 0-5 loss to Asian Games gold medalist Wu Yu in the women's 50 kilograms competition. Nikhat was completely outmaneuvered by the Chinese girl in a stunningly lopsided bout in Paris today. Nikhat was unseeded for the Games as the International Olympic Committee doesn't recognize the International Boxing Association, which conducts the World Championship. One of India's strongest medal contenders, Nikhat was put under pressure by the top-seeded reigning flyweight world champion in the opening round itself. He was quick off the blocks, and though Nikhat tried to counter-attack, she wasn't able to connect as Yu consistently switched her stance with her brilliant footwork to avoid the blows. Trailing 1-4, Nikhat found a bit more success in the second round as she landed a few straight ones, but Yu managed to connect some telling hooks on the Indian's face. Nikhat ended the round with a few body shots. Not much changed in the third round as Nikhat desperately tried to connect but continued to fail due to Yu's nimble movements. Despite this loss, Nikhat remains one of the most consistent Indian boxers, having won back-to-back gold medals at the World Championships and the 2022 Commonwealth Games, besides bronze in the Asian Games last year. We'll also take the hockey result before I go back to Vinayak. The Indian hockey team, they suffered their first loss of the Olympic Games in Paris, going down 1-2 to defending champions Belgium after letting slip a goal lead in a pool match in Paris. Abhishek gave India the lead in the 18th minute before Belgium made a strong comeback after halftime to score in the 33rd and 44th minutes to seal the win and remain unbeaten in the tournament so far. Both India and Belgium have already qualified for the quarterfinals from Pool B. India had defeated New Zealand 3-2 before drawing 1-1 against Argentina. In their last match, the Harmanpreet-led team beat Ireland 2-0. They will next play Australia in their final pool match on Friday. The Indians were by far the better side on display, at least in the first two quarters, as they dominated the possession and created more chances than the Red Lions. But the Indian defence also, they did well to start with, didn't allow the Belgian forwards to create any real scoring chances, thwarted two penalty corner opportunities, and veteran India goalkeeper P.R. Shijesh, playing his last international tournament, stood like a rock in front of the goal, but in the end it wasn't to be. India lost that game to Belgium. Let's quickly get reactions on these two matches. First, Nikhat Zareen. Vinayak, how disappointing was that? Obviously, favourite to win a medal here. Did you feel like she was at her best? What was wrong with her? Could you sort of put a finger on it? Or did she just meet a much better opponent? Or was she 100%? I don't know. Tell me.
Meha, like you said, once you're not seeded, you can get a pedigreed boxer very early. And it was unfortunate that she got Wu Yu in a second bout. But coming back to the how she performed today, the pedigree boxer showed up. It was one-sided in all the three rounds. I know Nikhat is a very good boxer and we all love her, and she was one of our medal hopefuls. But against the Chinese, like you said, she was nimble-footed. She would switch stance. Her jabs were working very well, and then she would land body shots and followed by a hook. So I don't think it was a disappointment when you look at all the three rounds. But yes, India-wise, we lost a medal hopeful early on, and it's all down to the seedings and how the draw was put out.
What about the hockey game then? I mean, of course, this was not going to be an easy game for India against Belgium, the defending champions. But, you know, this is something that we are seeing with this Indian team. The aggression, the composure, you know, controlled sort of aggression in them in the first two quarters. But then in the second half is when the team seems to run out of steam. What is your take on that?
Yeah, like starting off, Meha, there were a lot of good about this match. Okay, we scored our first field goal. We had the control of the match for the first two quarters for sure. We were the team that was going for it. But again, I mean, as we have seen in the last year or so, we have this sort of problem rebooting after the half time. Now in this third quarter, they scored two goals. Now that cannot happen. You are in the game, you're leading, you need to control it. For whatever reason, we lost control, and that is the reason why we lost the match. And again, in the fourth quarter, in the last 5-6 minutes, we were a man down. Raju Paul was yellow carded. Now we have, I mean, obviously, we always knew that it would be a very big fight against Belgium. They're a young team, they play very well. We always knew that we are up for it. But after having started so well, after having controlled the game, for us to let it go away is slightly concerning from my perspective. But like I said, there were a few good things also in the match.
Okay, now this one was a difficult one because you had Indians on both sides. India's Lakshya Sen, though, registered a comfortable straight game win over HS Pranoy to become only the third male player ever from the country to reach the quarterfinals of the Olympics badminton competition in Paris. Just a little while ago, the 22-year-old from Almora, reigning Commonwealth Games champion and a 2021 World Championship bronze medalist, looked in complete control as he notched up a 21-12, 21-6 win over world number 13 Pranoy in a 39-minute pre-quarterfinal clash. Sen joined Parupalli Kashyap and Kidambi Shrikant, who had reached the quarterfinals in the London and the Rio edition of the Olympic Games in 2012 and 2016 respectively. Currently ranked 22, Sen will now face 12th-seed Chinese Taipei's Chou Tian-shen in the quarterfinals. But yes, like I said, this was a difficult one. You didn't know who to cheer for because on one side of the court you had Lakshya Sen and on the other you had HS Pranoy. Quickly, this was another hugely disappointing result which I'm going to talk about now. Satwik-Chirag, Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty's Olympic dream came crashing down as they lost to Aaron Chia and So Wee Yik of Malaysia in the men's doubles quarterfinal at the Games. One of the favourites for the gold medal, Satwik and Chirag, the reigning Asian Games champion and Commonwealth Games winners, squandered a first game advantage to go down 21-13, 14-21, 16-21 in what was a hard-fought quarterfinal against the world number 3 Malaysians. Aaron and Chia, the 2022 world champions and Tokyo Games bronze winners, they will meet world number 1 and top seed Liang Weikeng and Wang Chang in the semi-finals. But okay, reactions from Vinayak on these two results. First one was a difficult one, but Lakshya was definitely the better one. I mean, he's been superb in this competition from the very beginning. The way he played against Jonathan Christie and today HS Pranoy, I mean, all he could win was 16 points. Again, Lakshya, who knew the conditions better, adapted better. Your thoughts?
Funnily, Meha, I thought Lakshya was the seeded player, but
yeah.
but Pranoy was the seeded player. Pranoy never showed up today. I don't know whether his former heel injury showed up. He was lethargic. He was not moving well on the court. It was pretty one-sided match. I mean, starting off, we knew that one of the Indians will not be there in the next round because both of our boys were playing. But it was so one-sided match. It was a very bad match to watch as a player, as a follower of the game. But like great to say, like you said, I mean, he beat Jonathan Christie in the last match. I mean, he was the form player, and obviously we would think that Lakshya would win this match. But I never, in my thoughts, ever thought that this will be this one-sided. If you can.
No, absolutely. And before we wrap this up, that's a big one. I mean, we really expected Satwik and Chirag to go all the way. What do you think happened there? I know they fought well, but your thoughts on, the whole game, and could they have done anything different?
Yeah, I thought they lost the momentum in the third game. They were leading 14-12, and there was this kill shot right on the net, and they played it safe. And after losing that match, they just lost the momentum. In the sense, Chirag, did not catch the flight of a serve. I think it was from Aranchia, and then there was a couple of net falls from Satwik-Chirag, and then they were just. There was no serenity to how they play. These two are very dynamic. They go out and play a very attacking game. Yeah. But after losing that sort of momentum, they were not there. You could see that they had just given up. I don't know what happened after that, because they could have gone into a three-point lead, and that could have made them very comfortable. But after losing that point, they just they never showed up, in the sense. I don't want to use the word showed up, but they just lost momentum. Yeah. It was their game it was their match to win.
Yeah, just suddenly lost the momentum somehow, very strangely. We don't see that. We don't see that very often from these guys. But Vinayak, completely out of time, and it was one of those days when some of the big names were eliminated for India. So as much as we want to celebrate that medal, we also have to keep this in perspective that Satwik-Chirag have been knocked out. There's also Nikhat Zareen. One thought that she'd go all the way. So yes, but then it's a brilliant and a wonderful day for shooting, because Swapnil Kusale won a bronze for the very first time in this event, which is 50-meter air rifle 3 positions event. But Vinayak Padmadev, thank you so much for joining us here, sir.
Yeah, lovely talking to you as always.
All right, with that, it's time to wrap this up. News 9 Live is where you get all the latest from these Olympic Games. So log on, please follow us. And for now, goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Fast.
My God, isn't she your daughter?
Yes.
She's playing football. This is boys' game. Make her study. If she doesn't get a good job, she will get a good match. Will you win the world by playing football?
Go! Yes, auntie. My daughter will win the world by playing football.
Let's go to Germany.
World's largest football talent hunt. News 9 Indian Tigers and Tigresses, in association with DFB Pokal, Bundesliga, BVB and India Football Center. Train and play matches in Europe. Register now and fly to Germany. IndianTigersandTigresses.com.
Over 20 healthcare trailblazers and leaders. 6 engaging sessions. 6 hours of engrossing conversations. Top trending healthcare issues. The Healthcare Summit 2024. An initiative by the TV9 Network and South First. Streaming on 3rd of August, only on News 9.
The drowning of 3 UPSC aspirants in a library located at a coaching center in central Delhi has put the spotlight back on those who are chasing the IAS dream in a far from ideal conditions. One of the reasons that the 3 victims didn't survive was the alleged malfunctioning of the biometric systems in the illegal basement library. Why are thousands of IAS aspirants risking their lives in coaching center libraries? News 9 Plus decodes. Delhi's old Rajendra Nagar is a hub of coaching classes for the competitive exams. However, thousands of UPSC aspirants risk their lives every day when they frequent these basement libraries. More than 100 libraries are located in basements of residential buildings in Rajendra Nagar alone. How do these libraries act as havens for IAS aspirants? Well, these libraries are a big departure from the conventional libraries. Instead of shelves lined up with books and reference materials, they have computer cubicles, reliable Wi-Fi connections, and privacy that many students preparing for competitive exams miss at home. Rajendra Nagar itself is home to more than 150 such libraries, as per the media reports. How do coaching center libraries flout rules? Many of these libraries are located in unauthorized basements for which coaching center owners do not have approvals. Leave aside safety certificates. They ignore even basic safety measures and often have faulty wiring and overloaded electrical circuits. This lack of sufficient entry and exit points in overcrowded classrooms with batch sizes often exceeding 100 students poses an enormous risk in a case of an emergency. What happened in the library at Rao's IAS Study Circle Center? Well, on the evening of 27 July, 3 students, Shreya Yadav, Naveen Delvin and Tanya Soni, died when the library at Rao's IAS Study Circle, being allegedly run from the basement, was flooded. The MCD says the owner of the institute had falsely shown that the basement was being used for parking and as a storeroom as per the building plan and no objection certificate of the fire department. Students told the police that the biometric system had turned off due to waterlogging. Once the water started gushing into the basement, the biometric systems shut off the exits, trapping the students inside. What is the economics behind establishing libraries in basements? Tuition classes bring in more money than the libraries. Also, the rent for the upper floors is costlier than the basement. Hence, the classrooms are on the upper floors while the libraries are in the basements. Many of these libraries are frequented by underprivileged students who may not join coaching centers with prohibitive fees. However, many students can still afford to study in these libraries. If these libraries were located on the upper floors, the fees or the subscriptions would go up too, to make up for the higher rent.
Have not quite lived up to their pre-tournament billing, delivering a series of less than convincing performances. For 2 draws and a solitary win.
Your son will be Messi. No studies, just football all day. Go my son, go. Make my face shine through playing football.
Not only your face but also the country's. I will conquer the world by playing football. Come, let's go to Germany.
World's largest football talent hunt, News 9 Indian Tigers and Tigresses, in association with DFB Pokal, Bundesliga, BVB and India Football Center. Train and play.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for most of the dead bodies surface but not the living people? Welcome to News 9 Live and you are watching On Point with me. Before I take you through the first On Point, let me take you through today's headlines. The death toll climbs to 288 in Wayanad. 240 remain missing. Rescuers use a Bailey bridge built by the army to finally reach the center of disaster zone, but chances of finding more survivors remains bleak. Leader of the opposition Rahul Gandhi visits Wayanad along with sister Priyanka, says the pain is worse than what he felt at his father's loss because hundreds of people have lost their entire families. It's raining misery in the hills as well. Rains wreak havoc in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. At least 14 killed in 2 states in last 24 hours. Landslides have cut off key routes and efforts are underway to rescue stranded pilgrims and tourists. A landmark ruling from the Supreme Court allows states to subcategorize scheduled castes for quota benefits. The apex court also bats for excluding the creamy layer among SC/STs from reservation. Fresh setback For prohibitionary IS officer Pooja Khetkar, Delhi court denies her anticipatory bail, asks Delhi police to probe if other persons have availed of benefits under OBC and disability quotas without entitlement. No, this is not a major problem, says the Lok Sabha Secretariat. Clarifies that the water leak in the new Parliament building was due to the displacement of an adhesive used to fix glass domes over the lobby. Congress MP Manikam Tagore had moved an adjournment motion to discuss the issue. More good news from Olympics. Swapnil Kusale wins India's third bronze medal in the 50-meter air rifle 3 position event. But heartbreak in boxing. Two-time world champion Nikhat Zareen loses to her Chinese opponent. Israel marks another victory in its war against Hamas. The terror group's military chief Mohammed Deif, who masterminded the October 7 attack, has been killed, says IDF. And the crackdown continues in Bangladesh. The Hasina government bans the Jamaat-e-Islami and its student wing Islami Chhatra Shibir under stringent anti-terrorism law following nationwide unrest. Welcome back. Fresh clash broke out in Manipur on Thursday between internally displaced people and the security forces in Imphal East after tear gas was deployed to disperse to ensure that the protest rally does not move forward. Police fired tear gas shells near a school which was full of school children, leaving them traumatized. These are the visuals. First, let me play them out for you. This is what happened.